Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another tutorial. It's been a little while, but today I just wanted to talk about some spring dynamics in Cinema 4D. Once again, this is a topic I've never really talked about, and I figured I could do a tutorial about it. So here it is. So basically, we're just going to be talking about some basic spring dynamics in Cinema 4D. I'm not actually going to be creating anything special. Just simply showing you how it works, basic setup, and that sort of thing. And hopefully you guys can be creative and come up with something on your own. So the very first thing we're going to do for the purpose of this tutorial is drop in a floor. Right click on the floor, go to simulation tags, and go to collider body. And the next step here, for this tutorial, I'm just going to be using text for to demonstrate spring dynamics. So obviously you can use whatever you want here. I'm just going to use the letter A, and I'm going to change this up here to A so I don't get confused. Then I'm going to click on the text here, Command C, Command V, or Control C, Control V to duplicate it. Change the duplicated one to the letter B, and the text down here to B as well. Alright, so you can see now we have two different letters here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate letter B, let's say 90 degrees. That's the wrong way. Whoops. Let's try this way. And that's the wrong way. Alright, there we go. That's fine. Or actually, let's do negative 90 on the H rotation. And then on A, we'll do negative 90 as well. So basically what we have here is two letters facing each other. And the next step here to create some spring dynamics is to go to Simulate, Dynamics, and go to Spring. And right here, this is where we're going to designate which objects we want the spring to be applied to. So in this case, the letter A and B, these two are going to be connected together by a spring. So on object A, I'm just going to drop in the letter A, and in object B, I'm just going to drop in the letter B. And immediately, you're going to see this basically looks like a spline come up in the shape of a spring. That's indicating that these two objects are connected together. So we press the play button right now at this point. You notice it's going to light up red, letting us know that no dynamics have actually been applied to the objects we wish to simulate. So we're going to have to do that first. So for right now, let's right click on the letter B, go to simulation tags, go to rigid body, and let's do the same for letter A. So simulation tags, rigid body. So now these two objects or two letters have dynamics to them, and this means that the spring can actually simulate spring dynamics. So if we press play, you'll see now that they actually something happens, which is kind of interesting. Of course, this isn't all you can do. You just have to play around with the settings. So like if I change the rest length to 50 centimeters instead of 100, you can see that that's like a tighter, they squeeze together tighter. So if I do like 150 and increase the rest length, you can see there that there's a farther distance between the two whenever it comes to rest. So that's pretty self-explanatory there. I'm just going to change this back to the default 100, and then stiffness, of course, is a stiffness, and I believe the higher this number is, the faster it's going to pull these together. As you can see there, that was kind of off the chart. So the lower the number, the less stiff it's going to be. Alright, then obviously right here we can, where it says apply, we can apply springs to both objects, or we can apply it to one or the other. So if we say only to A, the B will remain stationary, and then the A will fly into the letter B there, as you can see there. We can also do vice versa, so only to B, and that way the B flies into the A. Sorry if this is getting kind of confusing, but hopefully you guys can see what's going on here. One thing I could do here to get a whole different look is see how the B is flying into the A like that, and then the A flies off. Well, if I wanted to keep the A still, keep it in position, all I'd have to do is delete this simulation tag on the A. Make sure I have that selected. Right click on the A, go to simulation tags, and go to collider body. And now whenever we press the play button, you'll see that the B hits the A, but the A doesn't move. So just a whole nother different thing you can do. I'm just going to change this back to a rigid body for now. Okay, and then also we have the different types here. So if we do like an angular, I haven't really played around with this too much. We'll see what happens, and that's definitely kind of odd. Let's do to both and see what happens. That's very interesting. Let's drag this up real quick. Alright, so you can see kind of like what happens when you just kind of play around with stuff. That's pretty much what you have to do most of the time, is just play around with things to kind of get what you want. As you can see here, we're getting something really weird, and you know, you might be able to create something cool with this if you're like really creative, or you know, something like that. So that's mainly the reason why I'm making this tutorial. But that's pretty much basic spring dynamics. Attachment, like you could, by default it's at the center of mass, so it's going to be at the center of mass of the object, but we can change this to like say polygon point. You'll get a different look there. Point selection, so if you designated a point, that's where the spring will attach to. Offset it. This is basically allowing you to put it wherever you want, more or less. And you know, if we play it, see, you get something completely different. So that's basically the basic, you know, some basic spring dynamics there. Hopefully that was helpful for you guys. Alright, so I figured I'd basically talk about some suspension dynamics, since this kind of ties into spring dynamics as well. So let's go back up to simulate. Let's go to dynamics. Let's go to connector, and let's change the type from hinge to wheel suspension. And what I'm going to do here is go back up to the floor, drop in another floor, add a simulation tag, a rigid body tag to this. And basically what we're going to do here is going to go up to the cube icon, create a cube. Let's drag it up a little bit. Whoops, not that. Let's drag the cube up a little bit. Alright, and then I'm just going to duplicate the cube. So copy and paste it, and then I'm going to scale this second cube down a little bit, and then I'm going to drag it down some to about right there. Alright, and then go back into the connector deal, and then just drag in the cube to object A, and then cube point 1 into object B. And let's go ahead and play this real quick. Or actually, we have to apply some simulation tags to the cube. So go to the cube, simulation tags, rigid body. Go to this cube, simulation tags, rigid body, and let's play this and see what we got. Alright, so that's kind of an interesting effect there. You can see it kind of bounces. Now what we could do is we could increase the stiffness of this to say 3, and the higher this value, the more stiff it's going to be. So you can see there it just kind of bounces up and down and whatnot. We could change the suspension rest angle, so if we increase that value, you can see it's going to be a shorter rest length. If we decrease this value, it should become longer. Okay, so you can see there it rests at a longer distance. We could check off ignore collisions, so that these two cubes actually collide with each other if they come in close proximity. But you can kind of see how this bounces like so, which kind of creates an interesting effect. Once again, like I said before, this is all about kind of playing with you know, playing with the settings and whatnot. Let's see, I'm trying to think here. It just kind of turns over after a while, but something kind of interesting. Let's increase the damping here and see what happens. Alright, so it dampens it quite a bit. Now if we change this to 0%, it should bounce a little bit more. Alright, so you can see it's definitely a lot more bouncy there, but kind of a neat effect, and obviously, like I said before, if you're creative and have any ideas, you might be able to come up with something kind of neat using this feature in Cinema 4D. So this is just a basic rundown, kind of how this works. You know, of course, you could go up here and change the type to like a slider, and I'm not sure what's going to happen now, but okay, nothing much. Let's see, you got hinges and all kinds of stuff. It's basically the same principle of connecting two objects together, an object A and an object B, and then going from there. So let's see if we go to ragdoll, see what happens here. Alright, so the two objects are connected, and then this one cube just kind of hangs freely by itself, which is kind of interesting. But that's the basic rundown. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I'm just showing you some basic things that I've never talked about in Cinema 4D that might help you in some of your projects, or you might be able to use to your advantage. So I think that'll do it for this tutorial. If this helped you out, if you learned something new, please leave a like down below. Please comment. I'd really appreciate it. And thank you guys for taking the time to watch this if you made it this far. And I will see you guys later. Peace out.